Hello. I think my music, nope, my music's still playing. Okay, that's good. Hello. How's it going? It's been a while. It's been a minute. It's been a hot second since I was last live. Sorry about my voice. I sound like I'm dying. This is maybe the first time I've spoken. Actually, that's not true. I was gonna say it might be the first time I've spoken all day, but it's not. But I still sound like I'm dying, probably because I've been at work. Hello. How is everybody doing? It has been a minute. I looked and I was like, it's been almost a month. Like the last time I was live was at the beginning of the month, which is crazy. Considering today's the last day of July, which is insane. Hi, Ezra. So sorry that I disappeared. Um, Obviously I never said on here that I was going on hiatus. I only said it on Twitter. But obviously it still happened. So my bad. Um, the reason for my hiatus, I'm not going to talk about it in depth just because I did not say a lot on Twitter. I'm not interested in saying a lot here, and a lot of it is simply none of my business is not a nice way to put it, but it's just like, like I was just there. So, Ethereum SMP ended. And there were multiple posts made after it ended. One that is very important in particular is the one made by my good friend Robbie. So if you haven't seen that, I would highly recommend looking into it. But after all of this happened, I decided that I was going to take a little bit of a step back from Twitch and sort some stuff out, especially because my real life is super busy. I have a job, so I'm not here all the time, and just figure out where I'm going next and what my plan is from here. Because I literally was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I know now. And I also wanted to do I never really got to finish fleshing out A Lance's story in general. There were a lot of things that I wanted to implement that did not get implemented in the end, that I just didn't have time to do, or that I thought were difficult, or by the end of it, I had a lot of trouble being able to get on the server, let alone streaming. So there was some stuff for his character that I really wanted to wrap up and be able to bring to light, because there were a lot of things that I found out when I was unable to stream that I was unable to actually show. So I'm going to show that today. So I prepared a PowerPoint presentation, and this PowerPoint presentation is 32 slides long. So I might have gone a little bit insane. And then after my character recap, I'm going to talk a little bit about the plans that I have for the next couple of months and where I'm going from here. I am still streaming. I'm not done streaming, but I have, yes. So I think this is going to take maybe an hour or two, and then I'll be done. I don't really have much to say other than doing those things. Also, I'm blonde. I forgot about that. My hair is different. But other than that, I'm just going to be chatting. I don't plan on gaming at all today. So I'm going to get into my PowerPoint presentation that I've made specifically for this. It is over my webcam, which is not what I want. There we go. So some of the words and stuff might be covered by my face cam, so I apologize. Actually, I think I might move my face cam for today into like the bottom corner, which is annoying, but just so it stays out of the way of all the words, because there's a lot of words. I'm also going to, for some reason, my mic, I sound so quiet in so many of it. Like, I was watching my own VODs last night and I sound quiet and I don't know why. Okay, anyways, my character recap. I also have a document up that has stuff on, like, elaboration on pretty much everything. So anything that you ever wanted to know will probably be answered. Okay, so the basic things. Hi, Arden. Hope you're doing well. The basic things that were never outwardly said, but were mostly implied. His name is Lance. Legally, according to Nova Genesis, it's L Lance, like Lemon Lance. I didn't like that. I did not want his first name to be Lemon. His last name, I guess, is technically Lemon because I never came up with a better one. But that's his name. So he entered the simulation at 20 years old. I was 20 when I started Ethereum, and he turned 21 on the 20th of February, which was my birthday. Okay, just melting us from, I can imagine. I hope you managed to get cooler. But so I just kept his age the same as mine for sake of it being easier that way. He is human. For a while, I'm here to know the lore. Let's go! For a while, I thought I was going to do something with him where he wasn't human, but in the end, I ended up, not coming up with anything myself and running it by the staff members, and they just came up with a backstory for him. So he ended up just being human. Which is fine because I really liked the idea of him being like everybody around him was so like crazy and weird and everything, and he was just normal. Like I thought that was fun. So here's a picture from the mansion. I think I posted this one on Twitter before or elsewhere. The mansion that Violet built in the first simulation. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I forgot about this. Loving the PowerPoint background. Thank you. It's so cute, isn't it? Okay, I forgot about this. I have my trigger warning and my disclaimer. So many of the topics touched on in this presentation will be similar to topics touched on in the Ethereum SMP roleplay. This includes discussion of mental health issues such as PTSD, severe anxiety, and panic attacks, as well as discussion as major life events such as death of loved ones. All of it's fictional, none of it's real. And when I was writing a lot of this stuff, I did as much research as I physically could possibly do, to try and, like, a lot of this stuff is old writing, but I did a lot of research. But I just wanted to make that clear. And also, disclaimer, first of all, I leave certain people out, because I didn't know if they would want to have their name still be involved with this project. So, you'll notice that there are some people in here that are very important to my story, like, and A. Lance's story, they just don't exist in this PowerPoint. That's because I didn't know if they would want to still be associated with it, and I thought it was better to be safe than sorry. So if you see somebody missing, that's probably why. And also my very clear disclaimer that I don't condone any actions of anything that occurred. This is just wrapping up my character because this character is very important to me, and of course the other people in there were also very important to the character. So I try to leave people out that I thought were not cool to have in here. But if people are missing, that's why. But anyways, yeah, there's the disclaimer and the trigger warning, just for the record. But I go a little bit more into A-Lance's mental state and where I was going with that. So I just want to be like, okay, this is going to be a little bit more deep than... But this is the limit of it. This is everything. Okay. So I have my appearance, his appearance. Okay, so his eyes are light green, his hair is dyed blue, his roots show that he's very clearly blonde, naturally. That was because when I drew the skin, I had blonde hair like I do now. Or not drew the skin, when I made the skin. I made all my own skins. I did not have a single skin made. Actually, that's a lie. I had a couple of skins made, but none of them... I think one I showed on stream. The only skin that I had made for me that I showed on stream was the proposal skin, which I actually have a picture of like later in this. But that's funny. But Disney made that one for me. But all the rest of my skins I made myself. So the original character design, I had blonde hair when I made it, and I was like, I want to give him blonde roots, so I did. So he's 5'6", which is never talked about, but it is true. So he's shorter than average and shorter than most other people like in the simulation, but actually far taller than me in real life. Details that I could not include because it was a Minecraft skin. Um, he has freckles like along his nose. Generally, like me, because I also have it. His face is redder, so he always kind of had like a natural blush. I always drew him like that. There's a slit in his left eyebrow. If there was a scar there at one point, it's gone now. Nobody can see it. It's literally just a slit, but it never grows back. So, could be anything. Who knows? Um, and then another detail that I gave him that you could literally never see because there's no point. But in the during the mask arc, there was a point off stream where he was chased by Fuchs, and Fuchs killed him in the back. Like he was walking forward, and Fuchs stabbed him. So there's a scar in the back, like on the top by his like right by his spine from like where the spear was. That's permanent forever. So that was a detail that I really liked that I obviously never had a reason to show because you're never looking at like the bare back of a Cubito. Like I just never, but it's there. Fun fact. Okay. So this was the original. This wasn't the first design that I ever made, but this was the original like reference that I drew for him. Um his hair has changed a lot. The way that I draw his hair has changed a significant amount since I drew this. But this was way in the beginning. Um Obviously I still had the katana. So that was like a hot second ago. All the backpacks and stuff like that, and this was when I was still 20. So this was the original character reference that I drew of what he's supposed to look like, and I don't think I ever posted this one anywhere. This was the very first drawing that I ever did of him and his character design as it stands for Ethereum. So here's, I don't know if I ever posted this one either. I might have. I know I posted one. I just can't remember if I posted this one. I know one of them that I did post that it's not here. But anyways, this is what he looked like in the beginning. He changed a lot, and I do have some later art in here of him. But this is what he was meant to look like at the start. This was maybe like after the first day or something like that. But yeah, some art that I may or may not have posted at some point. Okay. Anyways, personality. So he had a very fleshed out personality that I thought about a lot. Okay, so I actually have notes. So insecurity. So he was a very deeply insecure person who was constantly feeling like, especially a lot of these are from the first simulation, less so than the second simulation. He constantly felt like he was on the outskirts of everyone else. He was insecure about his place in his family, among his friends, to his daughter, and in the wider simulation as a whole. This was a problem because it resulted in him shooting himself in the foot multiple times. Like if we call back to the entire situation where Violet was like, well, I overheard you talking about how you didn't want to be a parent, so I'm not going to speak to you anymore because it's better if we don't talk because I think that it's better for you. And he was like, well, yeah, I'm a terrible dad and I'm going to explode. So, very insecure, very, for a long time did not feel integrated at all into the family dynamic and everything like that. As a result of this insecurity, he has a lot of difficulty expressing deep verbal affection to the people that he loves. He's known to choke up during situations where he has to be verbally affectionate. And I wrote so many letters. Like, he writes so many letters throughout, especially the first simulation. And even the second one, pretty much everything important ever been said was written. It took him forever to actually verbally say I love you to Violet. This was a very important detail to me. He did not say I love you to Violet verbally for the longest time. And prefers to show his affection in other ways, such as giving people stuff or supporting them in other ways, like being there physically, or like he likes gifting people things. So yeah, there's a lot of situations where letters, like when he adopted Leo, it was in a letter, and stuff like that, which didn't happen on stream. I forgot about that. So one of his positive traits is that he's extremely loyal to all of his family's friends. He's fiercely loyal. He'll go to bat for any of his friends in an instant. But the problem with this is he would get involved in situations that are bigger than he can handle because of his need to involve himself into situations that involve his friends in order to protect and care for them. So getting involved in things, being like, why am I here? This is none of my business, but I have to be here because I have to be helping the people that I love, even if it was not necessary. He is very quick to anger. He's very overly emotional. He has a problem with letting his emotions get the better of him. He was okay, like, a lot of the times he'd be able to get a handle on it when it mattered the most. There were some times that he did not. Like snapping at Violet over Dolly and snapping at Roman and like that kind of thing when it was too much for him. And then the other thing is he is good at making it look like he's not insecure because he is pretty social. He's willing to at least pretend to get along with everybody. He would rather not have bad blood with people if he could avoid it. Did not like making enemies, and always tried to solve the problems that he had. So he was pretty, like, willing to communicate with people. A Roman mention. There will be more A Roman mentions. We have plenty of A Roman mentions. So, yeah, he liked to think of himself as somebody that was funny, easy to talk to. He tried to be friends with everyone, and generally thought that he was pretty well known for being cheerful and well put together. Like, not too off the rails. Like, not somebody that people were like, oh, well, yeah, Lance is going insane. Like, that's normal. But of course, I don't know how people were perceiving my character, so it could be anything. Okay. Then I'm going to talk specifically about his mental health, because this is something I did not... Ooh, I just opened a tab that I did not want to open. This is something that I did not get to touch on a lot in the actual roleplay, but I really wanted to go with. Okay, so he generally was like somebody that he was like, I am going to be fine about this, especially in the second situation. I'm going to be fine. If I don't think about it, I'm fine. And it just didn't happen. Which is not a good way to deal with things. Don't cope with things like that. He also believed that he had to be the pillar of strength for the people around him. He believed that if he didn't have a handle on what was going on and be able to tell other people that it was going to be okay, then who was going to do it? Nobody. So he was, like, cooked, basically. This is very prevalent there was a couple of streams I did with, Ashaya and Violet, where this is very clear, and he's, like, freaking out, going, like, I have to be the person that has my life together, because if I don't have my life together, then who does? Side note, it's odd seeing you blonde. / boss, thank you. It is different. It is different. I'm probably gonna dye it too, but I just haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet. But anyways, at the end of the first simulation, he shows a lot of signs of depression and anxiety. He has multiple panic attacks. He runs away from crowds and, like, hides. And he refuses to talk to people. Like, there are multiple instances where he runs away and only will talk to Ashaya and nobody else. And just generally freaking out. At the beginning of the second simulation, it shows that he is developing PTSD from the events of the first, which was supposed to be characterized. I never got to show a lot of these on stream, but it's supposed to be characterized by multiple, like, I guess, symptoms that were showing up. One of them was extreme avoidance, refusal to talk about the events of the previous simulation. If somebody tried, he would say, everyone's alive now, it's fine, like, we don't have to worry about it. He would refuse apologies about the events of the final day. Like, A Roman apologized to him at one point and was like, I'm sorry for leaving you, and he was like, don't worry about it, I don't want to talk about this. And generally being very closed off about his true thoughts and feelings behind the final day, opting to not discuss or reference it at all, just pretending it didn't happen and everything's okay, because everybody's alive now, so it's fine. There was also, I didn't put this in here. I should have put this in here. He also hallucinated Uni before the Halps came back. Uni saying that it was his fault that he died. So that was a big part of the mental health issue there. Other thing is extreme reaction to hugs. When he previously was somebody who often gave hugs, now he runs away and tries to panic when somebody, or starts to panic, not tries to panic, starts to panic when somebody tries to hug him. He doesn't offer hugs to people, and he tells people that he does not want to be touched. This was because of the time where Shai and Lian died. We all died in a group. They died in a group hug when we were all in a group hug, so he was averse to that. And then also, something that I never really got to touch on was recurring dreams of the final day, particularly of seeing a couple people die, reliving his final fight over and over, thinking about losing track of Violet, his last words to her, and his last words to Roman, which were basically like, I know that we're going to die. So he would spend a lot of time working at home, not talking to people, because when he looked at somebody in such a way, he would just see them dying over and over again, basically. Considering he was the very last person alive. Immense regret that he couldn't save them all, even if they're all alive now, and was particularly bothered by Shai and Lian's death, and would think about that a lot. Yippee! Okay, now a little bit less dark. We'll move on to some more actual new information. Okay, so slide about the memories. So as of joining the first simulation, Lance does not remember anything from before. When prompted about a possible middle or last name or siblings or family in or outside the simulation, he comes up blank and is unable to provide any information. He doesn't recall anything from his past. His memories begin the moment he wakes up in the sewer on the very first day. The lack of memories causes significant distress for Lance, evident in multiple situations. He often talks about how the lack of memories hinders his parenting, as he doesn't remember any of his own childhood, and he generally feels dumber and more behind others who have a better recollection of what their life was like outside of the simulation. So he is dropped in here with absolutely no memories. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know where he is. And he has no past experience to draw from. Man does not know a single thing at all. So what this is relevant to is he does have a backstory that he just was not able to fully uncover, but he was able to uncover part of it. So I don't actually have the book that I was given that was about A-Lance, but I do have the book that Lian was given about their character, and this is relevant. So A-Lance was a astrophysicist kind of thing for a branch of Nova Genesis called Zephyr, which he had a PhD in astrophysics. He had done all this studying and was basically working as like a teacher. So at one point he was sent on a field mission with Lian, maybe some other people in the crew. There might have been like another crew. At one point something went wrong. They crash landed on a planet, a random planet somewhere, and they were found later with Lian and an alien that they had gotten from somewhere. Don't know what happened there. Lance had barely survived. He was in critical condition when they were found, and Lian did not survive. Lian ended up dying. So the very interesting thing about the simulation is that Lian was in the simulation dead in real life. Real Lian was dead. Which is fascinating. And they were siblings. They're actually siblings. So this picture in the bottom is the suit that they both wore on said mission. And then I have the book here. So this was about Lian. I ended up taking screenshots of this book because I wasn't allowed to keep it, and then I didn't, I kept my own book, so I didn't take any screenshots of it. But so it says, from what we know, Dead had close relations with Lance. Apparently they were siblings. I don't know much about them or Lance, unfortunately. Disappeared after Starblade fell into pieces from the atmosphere. Was in the mission together with Lance, whoever this is, and redacted. The site director moved the rescue project to Nova Genesis after a lot of waste by resources of resources by unsuccessful tries. From what we know by passenger reports, land was hit by the electroacid storm that emitted big chunks of radiation and unknown energy. They will be remembered for history. So this was what happened to them. They were siblings outside of the simulation. Now, wow, this is like glitching out real bad. That was great. Okay, so we don't know anything more than that. We were never told anything more than that. So none of this, what I'm about to say, is canon, but I do have ideas as to why we were in the simulation and what this whole thing was about. So we were traveling with some kind of alien when the whole, like, they were with some kind of alien when this whole thing happened. And what I like to think is, and we talked about this a little bit, but even Leanne might not, like, this might be not even necessarily what they believe happened. So I'm trying to think of where to start. So we were traveling with this alien, and I believe that what happened was the alien was responsible for the reason that we, like, crashed. Presumably messed something up. Maybe it was the storm and it freaked it out or something like that. So what I believe is that the reason that the alien was on the ship was because of me. Like, I was like, we should take this back to Nova Genesis. It would be so cool to study. Like, this should come with us after we're, like, finished with this mission. And this is cool. Like, we don't know what kind of technology this could spawn or whatever. And they were, like, hesitant, but they were like, okay, sure, whatever. And then they end up dying to this thing. And so, since Alance survives, I was like, what the reason that we could be in the simulation could be that Alance was like, you should revive, put Leanne's consciousness in the simulation, and then put me in there so I can see them again, as a way to, like, mitigate, like, the guilt that he felt from, like, getting them killed. So I was like, in theory, he was like, I need to be in this simulation because I want to be back with them, and I want to be, like, I want to apologize and relive, like, be able to take advantage of the time that I have with them now, because I feel guilty for getting my own sibling killed in, like, line of duty, I guess. And where we were gonna go with this is we were gonna kind of, like, do this and have Leanne, because towards the end Leanne was like, I don't want to be here because I'm supposed to be dead. And I was like, it would be cool if we had the idea where it was like, if Lance was the one that put them in here, like, being like, this is ridiculous, I went through all of this effort to get you in here and you're not even grateful. Like, so you could live, so you could be alive out there. And so, but more out of, like, a selfish, like, rather than being like, I mean, he's saying verbally, you should be grateful that you're alive, but the whole reason that he convinced Nova Genesis to put Leanne's consciousness in here was for a selfish reason. But obviously he doesn't know any of this right now. Like, he would find it out later. But being like, it was all selfish to be like, I want to see you again and I want to make amends. Even though when they're both put in the simulation, they have no recollection of anything that happens. But yeah, that's my theorizing, and that's canon in my brain. That's what happened. So yeah. Then I also want to go into a little bit of the relationships that Alance had, because a lot of them were also very important, and I didn't really get to go into them. So Hey Roman is the first one. Okay, so it's still blocked by my face cam and everything else. So I'll be reading all of it. So it says, although originally finding a Roman to be intimidating in the beginning and taking longer to get closer to them than many people, the two quickly became inseparable, and now Lance couldn't imagine life before meeting Roman. Frequently called Lil Bro by her, the two have a very unique bond. They always have each other's backs, and without would without question go to war for each other. Roman is always the person that Lance goes to for advice or support, and he trusts her with his whole heart and without hesitation. Throughout the second simulation, this stays with A. Lance attempting to treat all of A. Roman's alters equally and showing them showing the same care and respect for them as always. So A. Roman was a very important character to A. Lance. Literally spent so much time, the two of them together, which I do think is really funny because at the beginning they literally did not speak at all, but by the end, literally 100%, if not the most important, one of the most important characters to A. Lance. They cared so much about each other, and I love them so dearly. That's kind of what I have to say about that. I don't really have a lot more to say other than what's on there. But yeah, they were close. Most of the mental health problems that I talked about in the mental health section, A. Lance only ever confided in A. Roman about. So there are some things in there that only A. Roman knows. This little guy holds so many secrets for my character. But yeah. So there's A. Roman, and then we go to A. Leanne, who is also very important. So Lance and Leanne met due to being neighbors when Leanne entered the first simulation. Lance remembered feeling alone and scared and made a successful attempt to adopt Leanne into the family. The two bonded quickly and became very important to each other. From the outside, it appears that the two have a very rocky relationship, almost always fighting, killing, or harassing each other in each other's presence. The two have a deep bond, and either would drop everything to help the other in any given situation. Throughout the second simulation, the two began to see each other more as siblings than anything else, and it was confirmed via a book from Leanne's past that the two were actually siblings outside of the simulation. I love Leanne, and I love Leanne as a person. So, yes, they're siblings, and they did so many things, like, they were always, like, in dungeons, but yeah, fighting, killing, harassing each other, it was all, like, for fun. It was never, they actually love each other so much. They are so siblings goated. Okay, anyways. Hey, Shia, this one I have a lot to yap about. Okay, so a lot of these biographies are like kind of on the older side. So this one says they lived together in Queertown, originally meeting through co-parenting their daughter Violet. The two bonded for a very specific reason. Shia is always sleeping and Lance is never sleeping. Lance was always awake when Shia finally got up and was able to keep her in the loop about events. Although Shia still sleeps very frequently, he's a big part of Lance's life and always speaks highly of them. So they're my little cubitos. So I have so much backstory on these two. Okay, so there was the proposal. So by the end of the simulation, they were engaged. Fun fact, we never had plans to get married. We never planned a wedding. There was absolutely no wedding planned. I had everybody all the time being like, you guys need to get married. We had no plans for a wedding. At all. So they were probably never gonna get married because it was just so much work and we were both so busy by the end of it. The parenting section is because by the end of it we had 5 children, which was crazy. And those I go into like the kids later in this thing, but we had 5 kids and we were living in a suburban house. Fun fact about the house we were living in, I should have put a picture of the house in here. I almost did, and then I didn't. It drove me absolutely crazy trying to build it. Yeah, we had so many kids. It's crazy. But yeah, so all of that. So I wanted to also talk about a little bit of the backstory, like on our plans for the relationship, which was that there were none. And she had the type of motherfucker to own a minivan. That might be me. I might be the minivan dad, actually. But fun fact, we actually had no plans for our relationship at all. We did not talk about anything. All of this came from one night in, like, February, where we were like, have you ever wanted to have your character, like, be in a romantic relationship? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, but I don't know how to ask somebody how to do that. And we were like, what if we just did it? So we did. Like, that was the whole conversation. We did not literally coordinate on anything. We never DM'd about it. Like, we just things just happened. Um, which is why they're like when they actually get together, it was literally like forced by Uni and Violet because I had no plans. Like, I just didn't have any ideas. We never spoke about it. It was really funny. It was very so much of it was very impromptu. The only thing that I had ever planned ahead of time was the proposal, and they did not know that they were being proposed to. They just knew they had to be there for some reason. Um, so hot mess of a roleplay relationship. Planning is overrated. Exactly, it is overrated. Um, so here's the art that they made of our characters. I wanted to show it because it's so beautiful. Um, this is their Twitter is on the screen. Please go like they actually posted this on Twitter. So go like that and give it attention. I love these little guys. They have so they're so in I go insane over them. But yeah, literally no planning at all. Everything that happened in our relationship, everything that happened on stream was impromptu. Like I said, the only thing that had any degree of planning was the proposal, which 80% of that was not planned by me. It was actually planned by Dizzy. So, um, I let her go crazy. She built the venue, she did my skin, my outfit. I made the food, and she was like, all you have to do is come up with the words. So I did a terrible job, but I did. And that was literally it. That's the only thing about our relationship that has ever been planned. So they had such a wonderful relationship. I don't know if I'll ever do romance roleplay again, but it was a wonderful person to do romance roleplay with. I love Shia so dearly. So it was very fun, but also terrifying. I feel like many people are not often in a circumstance in which they need to be familiar with the aspect of doing romance roleplay, but I was. So you learn something new every day. Anyways, also, honorable mentions is a bad name for this section because it's not honorable mentions. It's also people that are very important to me that I feel like we did not have enough character development within our characters themselves that they deserve their own slide necessarily, but everybody that I loved, so a Toby, a Isaac, a Finn, Dolly, Flocka, anybody who lived in Queertown, and also anybody that literally indulged me in any kind of roleplay. So I actually have notes on my relationship with Toby. um, so my notes on my relationship with Toby says, although Lance doesn't really understand Toby a lot of the time, he likes him quite a bit and enjoys his presence. Lance considers him to be a bit of extended family due to Flocka spending a lot of time with his family and would protect and take care of him like any one of his own family. He was a bit suspicious of Toby during his odd obsession with Alpha, but given he seems to have moved on a bit, Lance has relaxed quite a bit about it. Yippee! um, so there's Toby. I don't know a lot about Isaac's character. That was not really something I was super familiar with. So I don't have a lot to say about Isaac. Finn was somebody who was also very important to Lance because they had VX in common. So I loved all the roleplay that I got to do with Finn. It was so much fun. Rail is a wonderful human being. Um, so I wanted to put them in there because they may not have lived in Queertown and they may not have like been together all the time, but Finn was extremely important to A Lance having somebody that they could connect with in the sense of VX, because not many people understood. Atobi is not meant to be understood. Atobi is a difficult guy to understand, but I think it makes him better. And then Dolly, who um had a very complicated and interesting relationship with my character where they were very on and off is like a bad way to describe it, but sometimes they like hated each other and like wanted to kill each other, and then sometimes they were great. At least A Lance wanted to kill him. I don't know about the other way around. It was fascinating, but he was so much we did so much like interesting role play together. It was so fun. Everything was always very exciting. And then of course Flocka, who I love. Hello Ezra. My nephew, Lance's nephew. love love him so much, and it was always a pleasure to be able to anybody on this list, anybody in general, it was always a pleasure to role play and be around any of them at all. So much fun, so much fun. I miss that snowman. I know. Little guy. um so here is my honorable my honorable mention slide for my lovely friends. um because I love these people, and and I just wanted to say that even if I don't have a lot to say about some of them in roleplay, that out of roleplay, every single one of these people is average oil enjoyer. Every single one of these people is so wonderful, and I am so lucky to know all of them. So here's this picture. I like saw this picture. I was like, I have to put this in. It's killing me. It's making me laugh. Like, what are we doing? Um, Everybody is so great, and I made so many wonderful, wonderful friends from this project that I am so appreciative of. The most normal screen, literally average day in Queer Down. I made so many great friends, and I'm just so grateful for that. So here's that. And then I have some more screenshots. Like, I wanted to put one of Finn in here because Finn was lovely. And then also everybody dead in the in Queer Town for some reason. I had multiple screenshots like this of everybody dead on the floor like that. I don't know why, but I have the amount of screenshots I have is actually like insane. So if you ever want to see a screenshot, like I have screenshots of pretty much everything that I was ever there for. Every day I logged in, I have at least one screenshot. But yeah, there are my sillies. Anyways, we're going back to relationships and serious things. So now all my kids, all 5 of them, because I have so many. Okay, so first we have Violet, who is was 100% the most important. She was so important. So it says, originally assigned to Lance by Nova Genesis and the very beginning of the simulation, Violet is the most important to Lance by a long shot. The two have one of the strongest relationships of the entire family. Lance highly values Violet and her well-being and will do whatever it takes to keep her safe and happy for the most part, even if he is a bit misguided sometimes. Although things change in the second simulation, Lance still dedicates himself to parenting Violet to the best of his ability. I spent so much time with Violet and Lance's relationship. And one thing that I think about a lot when it comes to these two characters is that they are essentially the same character, but one is in a little teeny tiny 7-year-old body and one is in a 20-year-old body. And then later they become the same character in both 20-year-old bodies. Except A Lance is a little bit more has it a little bit more together by that time. Robo Violet, yeah, I know, she's so itty bitty. I miss itty bitty Violet. But they have the big thing in common of taking care of everybody else and not really thinking about themselves, and being very overly emotional. So this is something that they connect on. I obviously can't speak for the other people I've roleplayed with, but I have been told before that they like I A Lance's job, he was poor and he can't fight. So his job was to be emotional support and emotionally parent Violet like a father would, not provide for her or necessarily protect her. Like he tried to do all those things, but it wasn't his specialty. Um did I take the slide out with I had like a picture of them in here and I think I took it out. I had a picture of adult Violet in here that I think I removed by accident. Whoopsie. But there was also adult Violet who essentially it was the same thing because this Violet could do a lot more because she wasn't at risk of death, but also being like, even though you're 20 years old and you're no longer a 7-year-old little baby robot, I'm still your dad and you can still come to me. So that was the role that he tried to fill, was an emotional support for her. I miss little baby Violet though. She's so tiny. This picture is from the second simulation, so you can actually see, but her whole like screen is shattered. Like this was taken in like the first week, I think, before she died. Which was there are clips on the internet of me sobbing over her dying that are terrible. But most traumatizing thing to happen to this man, lose his child, because she's the most important thing in the world to him. Okay, anyways, unis. I have two things of uni, two screenshots, because both are very important. So Uni was adopted by Lance on the day of the wedding. Uni's original parents had not always been the most present, and so when Uni started having nightmares and telling Lance about them, he immediately became protective of the child and started seeing him as his own. Although he wasn't officially Lance's child until the end of the last simulation, Lance always attempted to protect and take care of him. And then that carried over into the new one, where he was like, "Ah, we're officially father and son," and Lance built him the room and everything like that. So my second child, very important little guy. Very, very I love Uni. And Uni's admin is such a joy. Like, wonderful, wonderful person to know. So yeah, there's Uni. And then we have Emarinia. So the thing about Emarinia is Lance was never technically Emarinia's dad. Um I love Uni's little beach. I know, it's so cute. Ah. So Emarina was never technically A. Lance's child. What? Hello? Um, so it was more just like the idea of it, I guess. But so it says, although never officially Lance's child, when Shai was assigned to Emarina as another host in the second simulation, Lance quickly stepped into seeing Emarina as a child of his own. He built her a bedroom to stay in and tried to look out for them whenever they were awake together, becoming fatherly and protecting over them very quickly. Regardless of the official title, Lance cared deeply about Emarina and would protect her until the end. And I thought about this later, but I liked this kind of almost foreshadowing, because at the end of the first simulation, Lance dies protecting Emarina, like, is the only person alive other than Emarina. And so it makes a lot of sense that in the end he would be like, you are my child, regardless of whether or not you're actually my child, and I'm going to protect you, because, it carries over. They were so chaotic. I love Emarina, and Emarina's admin TD is also such a joy. Wonderful, wonderful people that I'm so glad that we got to cross paths, even if it was only for a second. I have so many Emarania screenshots. Any moment that I got to spend hanging out with them was so always wonderful, always wonderful. But Emarania as a character was very important to my character, especially because, so a lot of Emarinia's parents in the second simulation were not extremely present. Like, they didn't really have a lot of places to go. And the only bedroom on the whole server that was built for them was the one that I built. So I would log in at random times, and there would just be random people in my house, because they would be in Emarinia's bedroom, because they didn't have another place to go. So I would be like, what's going on? Why are there why are there random people in my house? And people would show up at my door going, where's Emarina? And I'm like, hell if I know, she's not my kid. And they'd be like, ah, shit, I don't know where my daughter is. And I'm like, but I love TD. I love Emarina. And it was so much fun. So much fun. Okay. And then we have Leo. Leo was the very last help that technically joined the family, but is before the other one, because of the bond that we had before that. So one of the first other helps that Lance was able to get to know, Leo had always been important to him. It wasn't until the second simulation where Lance really started to attempt to be a good uncle to Leo, knowing that he needed more people looking out for him. This became easier to Lance over time, and before long, Lance was seeing Leo as his own child. In an effort to provide Leo with some more support, he asked Leo if he could adopt him, and Leo accepted. Lance cared deeply about Leo's well-being and tried in every way he could to make him feel just as valued as his other kids, even though he was the last one to officially join the large family. I did officially adopt Leo. Kid number 5. But A-Lance went through so much effort to be like, you only have like one person looking out for you, so I'm going to be another person looking out for you. There was like a time where Leo ran away, and Lance put like a lot of effort into making stuff for him for when he got back and stuff like that. But Yeah, little guy. Very important relationship. And Leo was literally like the second help that um Lance actually got to know and like knew well. So in the end, his child as well. This did not happen on stream. This was so impromptu. Like I want to make a big thing out of this, and then I did not get the chance. So I ended up doing just a little thing really quick, and it was super late at night. And then it was like 2 a.m. and I immediately went to bed because I had work in the morning. But in the end, Leo was Lance's child as well. I owe Leo my life. You're real for that one. Me too. Me too. Sometimes I'm like I look at like this picture. I'm like I need. I owe Karen my life. That too. Karen is a legend. I have so much love for Karen. I actually cannot quantify it in a way that just Karen is one of my favorite people in the whole world. So I can't. Okay. Anyways, we also have Toji. So Lance and Toji did not have nearly enough time to bond as I would have liked. Off roleplay, I so wish we had more time, and Toji came at a terrible time for my real life. Which sucks. But I would have loved to do more. So, but although being randomly assigned a new child and being extremely nervous about it, Lance cared about Toji very deeply. He would at least attempt to get her anything she wanted and tried his best to be a present parent, although he was struggling for most of the time. Despite coming at a time where much of the family was already established, Lance did his best to integrate Toji into it and make her feel welcome and loved just the same. I know, Toji had such an adorable little model. Like, that's just a little guy. I also forgot to mention in this that I made canon towards the end of it that the reason I didn't log in and play as much is because of all the stress, like, from everything, like, Lance was getting sick, and like, I had, like, 5 FPS every time I tried to log in, so I was like, the lag is, like, a terrible headache that he, like, can't be awake for more than, like, an hour at a time. But Toji was such a little baby. And I'm so sad that I didn't have more time to explore Toji's character, and that I was such a not a great parent because I just wasn't there, but nobody else was there either. But it was like it's so difficult. I wish I had more time to get to know Toji and flesh out the relationship between Lance and Toji, but obviously she still needs to be mentioned here because she was still a Lance's child and was very important in that sense. So the other thing that I forgot to put, and I was going to say this, I also forgot to put Hunter on the list of honorable mentions, because I missed a Hunter. Ah. Everybody that I roleplayed with is so wonderful. But yeah, Toji. And Toji's admin is also a joy. I've said this about every single help admin, but everybody that I've had the chance to roleplay with is just so incredible. So this is kind of it for everything that I wanted to say. This is where I remember someone putting a notepad in the starting lab about a cat help. Wow. Way from the beginning. So this is kind of where my character design evolved to by the end of it. Obviously, this is the proposal outfit. This is the outfit that Disney made for me. But by the end, I had his hair kind of bleed out into, yeah, the Fit MC. That's somebody put in my house. I had his hair kind of bleed out mostly, so it was more blonde than it was blue. And then when I originally did that, I was like, oh, he's gonna dye it back to, the blue. That was me too. I figured it was. But I think this picture's really funny. But I ended up keeping the blonde because I was like, oh, he's lazy and he just doesn't want to change it. But then I made that necklace like a permanent part of his design. So by the end, I was always drawing him with a necklace, and yeah, so that's what he looked like by the end of the simulation. Not too much different from the beginning, but he looked a little bit different. So I have some art that I never showed because I never post any of my artwork, but this was from the Hypercube night, which did not happen on stream and was also very impromptu because I logged into the server expecting that I was gonna build, and then there was a giant glowing blue cube. So here's him looking at the hypercube. And then we also have this one that I drew that I wanted to show. So this is a good, like, show of where my art style was with A-Lance at this point. Like, you can see that I didn't even draw the lemon. My own character, I didn't even draw it. But this is A-Lance and Ashaya. So, first of all, credit to Shaya, that's their design. Me eating her art. Ah! But this is where my character design was at, what he looked like by the end of it. Gay people. So, yeah, I just wanted to show that. Random photo that I have from the end of the first simulation. Obviously that art is done by Shai as well. Very gorgeous, please. This is their basement, actually. So, thank you for listening to me bramble about my character for an hour straight. That's it. That's everything I got. It was so much fun to be able to play A-Lance. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be on the server. I was so grateful to be able to create this character, and meet everybody and roleplay with everybody that I got the chance to roleplay with. It's been a joy. And I'm just so happy, and I wish that I could have given him a more concrete ending, but because I still don't have, I think I'm going to be working on a project that will actually wrap up what happened, but I know I didn't actually talk about what happened to him, so you might hear something about that in the end, because I'm cooking a little something with Shia that will hopefully come to existence soon to wrap up his story arc. But I wanted to, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't get to touch on, that I actually wanted to talk about that I never ended up getting to finish. So yeah, I think there's one more slide. My build, from the previous one. But yeah, I think that that's everything. I think this, yeah, this is the whole thing. But this is one of my builds that I never actually got to show in depth on stream, I don't think, because it was from the confession with Ashai and A-Lance that didn't happen on stream because it happened at random. But this was RIP to this build. I miss it every day. Thank you guys. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for that. My whole 32 slide PowerPoint presentation. We'll switch back to this since we don't need this anymore. Thank you guys. So, I have my whole no. Sorry, I'm hole coded. So true. Anyways, the other things that I came here to talk about while I was, I'm like, I'll do this while I'm live. So multiple important things. First of all, what am I doing now? Because I don't have an SMP. So, first of all, I'm going to finish Ace Attorney. So I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks. I'm going to be 3 weeks. 3 weeks from today I leave. And I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. So I'm going to try and stream as much as I possibly can in these 3 weeks of time. And then I'll be gone for 2 weeks. And then I'll be back. And then I'm gone again. Because everything's insane. So I'm going to finish Ace Attorney. And then I have other plans. I have other games. I have other things we could do. So I'm not done streaming. So we'll be so back. We'll be so back. And I'm off my hiatus. I'm returned. I'm alive again. Which is great. The other thing is I might have joined another project. Hold. We'll see. So there might be some we might be back to Minecrafting in a couple weeks. But we will see. Not entirely positive about when yet. But okay. Then other important announcement. I'm going to TwitchCon San Diego. I think I'm only going to go one day, but I'm going to TwitchCon San Diego. So if you're going to be in the San Diego area, so am I! It'll be my first TwitchCon as affiliate. Well, only my second TwitchCon ever, but my first TwitchCon as affiliate, so I'm very excited. I think I'm only going to go Saturday, but and I'm about to buy my ticket very soon. But very excited. Teleporting. Yeah, come to San Diego. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited. I'm gonna see so many people. I'm planning to see so many people at TwitchCon. I'm gonna be, oh my god, I'm so excited. But I'm officially going to TwitchCon San Diego. There's my announcement. I booked everything except for I haven't bought my ticket to actually get in the convention. But I'm about to do that. The Lance Danger, literally, there are gonna be so many people in the Lance Danger Zone. There are gonna be so literally, I'm gonna meet so many people. Actually, don't even, because some of you guys are gonna be in the Lance Danger Zone too. So, prepare yourself. I'm so excited. I have so many plans. I'm so excited to get back. I'm going to Florida. And I'm so excited to get back and talk about it. Arden, it depends on where you live, because I might be in Europe at one point. You might be in the Lance Danger Zone. I don't know. We'll see. I have plans and things on the agenda. We will perhaps see. But yeah, those are all my announcements. This stream ended up actually being shorter than I thought it was gonna be. I drink my tea nervously. So I don't really have anything else to say. I went through my whole PowerPoint presentation. I made all my announcements. But yeah, I'm gonna be chilling for now. I probably won't stream much for the next couple days because this weekend's busy and I have work, and it's also going to be hard because I have so much to prepare for my long vacation, which I will be posting so many pictures of. Oh my god, I'm so excited. But I want to try and stream before then. I am supposed to, you know what? I didn't set up my headphones properly. Fun fact, it's not going to work. If you, like, trying to configure these in a way where if you sub, it'll like make them flash, because that's a feature of these headphones. Is if you subscribe, like there's a streamer companion app, and if you subscribe, it'll make them like go off. They're not even like programmed correctly right now because they're not supposed to be this color. This is like the base color. But it doesn't look like the app wants to open because it just is. It's a hilarious feature. It's like ridiculous. I'm like, that's so funny. But you're supposed to be able to configure it any color you want. So any like donations make it flash like a different color than if it's a subscription or whatever. I don't know. It's I was like, this is so fascinating. But my app's not working right now. So because for some reason it's saying it's disabled in the app, that refuses to open. Whatever. So we're green again. Also, I'm wearing my US shirt because the Olympics are on, so my US soccer shirt. But yeah, so that's everything that I have. I didn't end up going nearly as long as I intended on, yes, Geen, as I intended on streaming for, but I don't have much else to say because I really haven't, I mean, my hiatus has just been working, so I haven't had much going on in life. I just wanted to wrap up my little character and then have that be done. So I don't have any games planned. I don't have anything else lined up. It was just to chat today. It was nice to see you too, Arden. It's nice to be back. It's nice to talk to everybody and be like, oh yes, I am still a streamer and I still know how to stream. Yippee! So I'm going to head out. I will see you all later. Hopefully sometime this weekend. Hopefully Sunday will be the next time I'm live. If everything goes well. But thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all listening to me ramble about my silly little character for an hour. I'm very happy to be able to wrap that up. So I will see you all later. Thank you for coming. Goodbye.